Hi, this is Anaiis, Patreon Sage on YouTube, and thank you very much for stopping by my channel today. Please like, share, and most especially comment. I love hearing from people who are watching the video content and who are understanding the approach that I'm taking. So for those of you who have visited my channel before, thank you very much for returning. For those of you who are new to my channel, I'm going to make this as quick as possible. First, I do intuitive readings. I have no set structure as of yet for these readings, and these readings for me are like jazz. I handle them as if they were a jazz composition. I am translating current energies for sacred union dynamics. Some people refer to that as twin flame. I, at this point, am doing daily readings for sacred union counterparts or twin flames. I do not focus my readings on any form of astrology. If I happen to show a card that has an astrological resonance for you, well, that's wonderful. But I don't focus on that. It, in a sense, it really overcomplicates the current energies that are happening within the sacred union dynamics. So let me just say that. One more thing. I use the terms divine masculine and divine feminine. These are not gender specific. From the perspective that I am in, sacred union is a function of the ascension journey that we are on, those of us who have chosen to be on the ascension journey. What else would I like to tell you? I'll explain as I go along, but I think that's probably enough to get you started. I do use a different variety of decks. I have the opportunity to inquire each morning. The question is simple. What are the current energies for sacred union, aka twin flames, right now? And then I translate those energies into language, and I will break that information into components as the translations require. Sometimes I will do an extended reading, and sometimes I won't. I'm not sure how this is going to go today. This may become an extended reading, it may not. If it isn't going to be an extended reading, it will be a long reading, and it will be presented to you in parts so that you can follow through, you can timestamp, you can pause, you can watch later, and there will be additional information about the educational content I offer on my website. And just to let you know that I do have a live workshop coming up in Philadelphia, September 21st and 22nd. It is Your Story or Your Life, and it is designed to help those who are waking up just get unearthed from their social selves and cultural stories and liberate themselves from their 3D construct emotional pain bodies, which is so much a part of the ascension journey. Okay, so I think I may use that clip and set it up as an explainer video. And I don't know that I want to go through that every single time, but then again, I don't necessarily mind repeating it when Source and Gaia and the guardian beings that I work with and the ascension coordinators that I'm in touch with are inviting me to share with you what I know and what I've learned about this process. I've been on the twin flame journey consciously and as a facilitator and as a guide since 1996. That's a long time ago. Okay, so with all that being said, let's begin the reading. Okay, so what I have been guided to do is to point out whether or not we are looking at a dynamic that is sacred union, inner feminine, inner masculine, The energy may be focused on one counterpart, either divine feminine or divine masculine, doing the inner work to come into a more mature state of union within themselves. Or the reading is, this is where the divine masculine is on the journey in current energies. This is where the divine feminine is on the journey in current energies, and how these two sides of the dynamic are relating to each other and what the flow is. And then I will go into what are the internal dynamics, the energetic dynamics, the spiritual dynamics, and then I may focus on the practical dynamics of what's going to be the action steps or the outcomes that will carry both, one or both partners through the next phase of their journey. And again, I'm doing these readings almost on a daily basis. It's a very dynamic situation. There are waves and waves of new energy rolling in from Source, being translated and coordinated through Gaia as part of her ascension journey, and then we are in the receiving end of that information. Okay, from higher densities and other higher, you could think of them as dimensions or domains. All right. Now, having said all of that, today's reading is about dynamics between the divine masculine and the divine feminine. And I'm going to go through the sections first about what's going on within the union in terms of each of the sacred partners, and then I'm going to go into the energy dynamics of that and what's going on, and then I'll decide whether or not I'm going to separate this out into an extended reading. Okay, so the first card that came out was the Swan, which for me is my Sacred Union card. And when this card comes out, I know that we're going to get some really important information about what is happening in the union. So this card came out to confirm and validate that we are talking about Sacred Union here, which helps me because I don't want to confuse those who are watching the videos and the content. So I have always premeditated, gone into meditation, asked to tune into and tap into the current energies, and then I translate these energies into words. I do not channel. There's not another part of me that has a separate name or a separate identity that speaks through me. And at this point, because I've been on this journey so long, I am completely integrated with all the higher aspects of myself, and we don't separate our voices. So it is my voice, and the information is coming directly through all of these integrated information sources as direct experience, as current energies, which then I translate into the English language. I don't speak light language, although I have done and will do that on occasion for my light worker and starseed clients if they should need that. All right. So here's where we're at. We have next out the Guardian of the Gate, and this is from the Fairy Oracles deck by Brian Froud. And I find these energies beautiful to work with in terms of translating current energies, because these are the energies of the elementals, Gaia's elementals, earth, air, water, and fire, as well as higher dimensional beings that are interacting with us through the realm of nature on the planet. And that is the realm that I am very, very deeply connected to. And as my Bliss channel now has completely opened, I am living in 5D frequencies and above, and have been since 2016. So that's kind of where this is coming from, and I can navigate those energies very adroitly and expertly, and have done so for years, including the capacity to ignite timeline shifts and merges as part of the work that I do in coursework, classwork, and client work. So here we have the Guardian of the Gate. And the Guardian of the Gate is here because there's a dynamic in the union where the union needs to be protected from inner work and transformational work that one of the partners is currently engaging in. So this is the guardian of the gate saying there's not going to be a progression for one side of the dynamic at this time because they have more inner work to do, and in a sense they've either retreated, taken a step back, or fallen asleep again in terms of there are some unconscious dynamics, subconscious dynamics, or shadow dynamics that have yet to be worked out. So that's what the guardian of the gate implies at the beginning of a reading. All right, so next we have, because I'm saying, okay, what's going on? That's always my question. What's really going on here with the energies? With the guardian at the gate, the next three cards out were the dragonfly, the otter, and the lion. Now, these, for me, in my readings, when I have three cards, they come out to represent one of the sacred union counterparts. This is spiritual energy, emotional energy, and then practical, what's going on in the etheric and mental realm, and how they are presenting in the world, in their external world. Okay. This is for divine masculine. Now, I would like you to note that we have an upward facing triangle for fire, a downward facing triangle for water, and a triangle facing upward with a line through it. So that's air, because this is going to be relevant in terms of the healing relationship with the sacred union counterpart, that the dynamic is happening between this person and another person. All right, this is divine masculine, and this divine masculine is dealing with a step back, because this divine masculine now is operating only in the 3D external energies and frequencies. The higher connection has become, it's still there, but it's now operating in 3D frequencies. So this divine masculine has taken a step down in energy, perhaps to move into an embodiment with a physical masculine energy that is a frequency match for the union. So the dragonfly is the element of air, and this is a beautiful card that speaks of imagination and a deep connection to spirituality and fast-moving energy that has the ability to move between the elements in a way, and this is a beautiful air energy. Now, this can be a very focused energy as a spiritual energy, and in this case, it is a focused energy that is working on some integrations within the 3D construct of this particular counterpart, divine masculine. Next, we have the otter, and the otter represents emotional energy, and this is a transition for this divine masculine. This is a transition of him coming more into a feeling state of his emotions and his emotional body outside of the pain body that he has been bonded to his whole life. This is a new state of emotional being for the divine masculine counterpart. It's transitional, it's new for him, and yet in his outer environment, he is presenting a strong face, although inside he's feeling watery and maybe a little unfocused, and his spiritual energy is, perhaps his spiritual vision may be clouded right now, but he's working his way out of that. However, in the external world, this divine masculine is still adjusting with how does he use his masculine energy as a strength without having it expressed as a distorted masculine energy within his dynamic and with his sacred union counterpart. So this is a very dynamic situation. For the divine masculine, this is very dynamic, and it has, this is an energy. There was a shift the other day where Source initiated a timeline shift, and this is a reflection of that timeline shift. So there's been movement here, and this is wonderful, but the guardian is still at the gate. And that's the next ascension gate that the divine union counterparts will need to go through. And these gates come up for, you don't have to be on a timeline of some external timeline in the collective. You can be mastering your own energetic dynamics and frequencies and come to your next ascension gate as an individual or with your sacred union counterpart. So in this instance, this divine masculine energy is being prepared to go through another gate, and he's being quarantined until he's ready. All right, so that's what's happening, and this is a divine masculine. This is you. This is you really, really paying attention now to how is your wanting to express 4D, 5D, 6D, 7D frequency and information and spirituality. How is this being integrated with your emotional body that is working so hard to become completely free from your pain body? And your pain body is the social self and cultural self structure you grew up inside of. And when you're coming into union and you're coming into ascension, all of that has to be reworked and be refashioned into the divine template that is in alignment with Source and in alignment with who you are as you're returning to Source in the ascension journey. So you're being very, very strong about this. You're being courageous about having to integrate this. And I would say that you're very much up in your feelings, and you may be feeling a little bit emotionally confused. But you're having a lot of help attending to this work, inner work, and we'll go into what that help looks like in a minute. Okay. Now, the divine feminine, on the other hand, this represents the divine feminine, okay? She is in a more unified state. The oyster represents where she is in her emotional, deep state of feeling, and she's feeling protective because she's feeling what's coming towards her from the other side of the union, and she has closed up to protect her sacred feminine essence from any damage, from an unconscious, a divine masculine who's working out subconscious, unconscious, and pain body dynamics. Okay, she's already been through that, and she doesn't want to be impacted by that again. And she's happy to hold space, which is what she will be doing for her sacred union journey. Her sacred union journey. And she's available to be in union with her divine masculine counterpart when he's caught up. Let's say, in a sense, he's caught up to her. Now, on the physical level, she's presenting as the rabbit, which means that she's in a very heightened state of awareness. And because of the frequencies and vibrations that are just across the membrane between her and her sacred union counterpart, her senses are on the alert because he's been acting out with some unconscious, subconscious, and lower frequency actions. And so she's alert because that means that that frequency he wouldn't mean to do it intentionally, but in his unconscious, subconscious state, he could attract energetic predators to the union, interference. So she's in her heightened state. She's not necessarily in fear, but she's paying attention. And this is on a physical level. This is her in her integrated physical body with her subtle body energies all operating together to bring her intuitive information and to have her sensing her environment and just paying attention to what's going on around her in her physical embodiment. Next out for the Divine Feminine, we have the Elephant, and this is her deep, deep, deep unified mind state, subconscious, unconscious, conscious mind, Akashic record information of her past lives and her future lives and all of who she is at a multidimensional level, migrating and moving into her physical embodiment and reverberating through the information she's carrying at a DNA level. Because part of the dynamic of this Divine Feminine is she knows she has DNA that she has to activate to make it through the ascension, and she's not going to jeopardize that process for herself in her physical embodiment. So this is a beautiful energy of memory, deep memory, including deep memory of who her sacred union counterpart is at this time, and a deep knowing that she has available to her literally 1,728 potential counterpart energies that can dance with her, learn with her, and prepare their entire soul group for ascension. So she's not stuck to any one particular partner. That is old 3D construct dynamics, and she's already awakened to that. But neither is she looking at having 1,728 sexual partners. Are we clear about the distinction? I hope so. Whereas the Divine Masculine is slightly confused on that point, and he's working that out now. So this is the Divine Feminine in her 5D and above. This is the symbol for operating and being conscious in the higher ethers or the higher dimensional energies, the density, higher density energies. And this is where the sacred feminine is. She has integrated this and she is embodying it. And this, you can't unring this bell. So this is the frequency and energy that she is co-resonating with and broadcasting now in her sacred union. She has reached a level of consciousness where she is a broadcaster from 5D to 3D, to a group of individuated incarnated beings that are part of her journey. She is broadcasting. I remember, I'm awake, I'm embodied, I'm activating my DNA, I'm on it. This is what she is now broadcasting. And that's where the Divine Feminine is in current energies right now. Okay, now, because of this situation, the next two cards that came out have to do with where the union is. And it is in a space where we have the devil energy and we have the tower. So because of the scenario that the Divine Masculine is in, that is energy that he's working out, and it's in lower frequency, lower states of consciousness. This is disconnected. This is having your spiritual fingers in your ears so you can't hear your own guidance and intuition, and you're listening to your social story and you're listening to your cultural story instead of listening to your higher self and your connection to source. So when you're in a sacred union and that occurs for whatever reason, you've been triggered, or there's just been a moment of new progression that you're needing to handle and master, that's going to generate a tower moment. And so where the divine masculine energy is right now is in a tower moment. It may be major or minor, but there's a real adjustment that has to happen in order for the divine masculine to go through his next ascension gate. So that's where that's at. Now, for the divine masculine within his own particular dynamic. And if you've watched my video the other day about divine masculine hunkering down for healing, this is energy that shows there's been movement in the dynamic, and he's waking up within exactly where he has closed himself off and in a sense put a pause, push the pause button on his process, on his ascension process. So that has to do with the Emperor energy of how he was functioning as an emperor in this dynamic. Very strong, very proud in the external, but having really missed a beautiful emotional an opportunity for emotional liberation from his pain body. And getting a little fuzzy on his spiritual guidance and his impulse and intuition, he may feeling is a little bit scrambled right now. So on his side of the dynamic, he is having to regroup how he understands himself as an emperor. And an emperor, as you know from the traditional tarot, is a masculine energy that has mastered the elements of earth, air, water, and fire. Now what's reflected here is he's recognized that he's gone on a fool's journey, and he's probably created a time loop for himself, and he will have to work that through, because what he's recognized is he's mastered the elements earth, air, water, and fire at the 3D level only. He has not yet mastered those elements in the 5D, and that's why he is being held at the gate. Okay, hopefully this is making sense to you. I think it will as we go along. Taking it slow and trying to be really clear and very precise in my translation. Alright, so this is where the divine masculine energy is. Okay, now for the divine feminine, here she is. Pretty tuned in, integrated, connected, and on her journey without interruption or pause. And what we have out for her is the High Priestess, because she is absolutely feeling herself and feeling all of her integrated aspects coming into her as very clear and coherent and reliable and trustworthy intuition about where she is and what her intentionality needs to move into as a conscious co-creator, so she can begin to have that showing up in her external reality. She realizes there's been a setback. And if you look at my previous video, you'll have an understanding of what that setback has been. And she's moved forward. And so she is still very much connected here to the core of her being, to her Akashic memory and information from all of her multidimensional selves, and to the core of her own sacred union journey. She is moving right along with this energy. And this could mean that she's moving on to a different co-creation external version of a divine masculine with which to continue this powerful journey back to the divine template, that is her in her union with Source. So she is definitely holding beautifully the internal space of her own divine feminine energy, divine masculine energy integrated in her part of the sacred union. And then we also have for her the Hermit, because she knows how to attend to this so that she can go within and listen. And she knows exactly what to do to go into hermit mode, to hear her most profoundly connected divine self resonating through her and her body, resonating through her reality, and she is listening. And she is willing to let go of any, microscopic aspect of the pain body that she needs to feel, recognize, sense, observe, and interact with. And not from a space of fear or lack, but from a space of divine connection. So that's where we're at for this part of the reading. And I'm going to share now. There are some additional cards for the Divine Masculine in terms of some quick daily guidance to kind of help him inch along forward and reset and get himself out of this stall. And that is to, it's always good to engage your third chakra and be a thinker, but it's so important to ask the right questions. And one of the best questions you can ever ask to ignite your inner work and get you moving through shadow and get you moving through subconscious and unconscious lack of clarity is what's really going on here. And this is something that I have been teaching for, more than almost 30 years now. I think it is 30 years. What's really going on here? Though that was the key question that ignited my own awakening when I was in a very dire state and on the brink of death. What's really going on here? How did I get into this state? What choices did I make? How did I lose my way? And that was me coming into the thinking that helped me to appreciate that there's no peace like home, and home is with Source. So this is where the Divine Masculines got a little guidance and a little help right now in the current energies. And for the Divine Feminine, we have Milk and Honey, because she's in a state of protecting her union. And she's also got Go to the Sea, which is the deepest place of consciousness. So in my dreaming vocabulary, when I have dreams about being at the ocean, that for me, when I wake up and remember those dreams, and I almost always do, I have gone home to Source. I have gone home to Source to be regenerated and to come back into my physical embodiment and all of my variations of who I am, because I exist beyond this physical body. I go to the sea, I regenerate, and I come back into my embodiment in a state of having been nourished and cared for by Source. And I have milk and honey flowing through me, and I have enough to share. So that's where the Divine Feminine is right now. Okay. So now I'm going to go into the second part of this reading, and if this is where you need to pause this video, save it for watch later, make a quick comment about what we've shared so far here in the translation of these energies, that will be beautiful. And now I'm going to go into what are the other energetics that are intermixed now between the Divine Feminine and the Divine Masculine. Because the the beautiful process that comes from Source and all the incredible sacred intelligence that operates in this particular sacred union dynamic, even though the guardian is at the gate, even though there's a tower moment, and even though the divine masculine is working with a tower and devil energy, the union is still progressing because of the work that the divine feminine is handling and managing. So the progression hasn't stopped for the union. It has paused for the divine masculine in terms of where he's at with his own awakening and self-love, but it has not stopped the union. Okay, so what we have first out, and I'm going to go through the way these cards presented, was we have the Rar and the fairy godmother and the Piper. So this is what is continuing to support the onward progression of the divine union itself in completing its journey back to Source. So we have the Rar, which is the incredible, impeccable power to keep this union on track and to keep reminding both partners and the entire collective of the purpose of the journey, which is to come into union with Source with our divine blueprints completely cleaned and as they were originally intended, to be using our sacred master key conscious co-creation techniques as we are in our embodiments, and to respect the light energy that's involved in there. But remember that co-creation and all of creation is a function first of sound. Source begins with sound, silence, then sound, then light. And so in this balance, the union moves forward. So we have that energy supporting the continued progression of the sacred union for the entire collective. Next out, we have the Green Woman, Friends, and She of the Kruach. So this is beautiful because we have She of the Kruach, which is the absolute primary energy, the first emanation from Source, is the divine feminine. And stepping down from her energy and in her beautiful merge with the divine masculine, in her individuation, she is the green woman. She is absolutely clear about what she desires for her union and what she is choosing to address within her own divine blueprint. And she is protecting that aspect of her union in her physical body, her spiritual body, her emotional body, her mental body, and her etheric body. And she's got the energy and the clarity of insight and focus to do that. That's all of you divine feminines out there. And here we have the Friends. And the Friends are I think of them as the elementals, air, water, earth, and fire, that have their own organization of consciousness and intelligence, and they are absolutely listening to the instructions they get from their ascending Gaia that is taking them through their ascension process. They're on the ascension journey with us human beings. So they're in good spirits, and we're all working together. Your molecules, your atoms, earth, air, water, and fire, your table of primary elements, the gold frequency that you may or may not have in your body, the other frequencies that are essential to your ascension process and coming completely out of the 3D construct and out of being completely liberated from your emotional pain body, which is built by the 3D construct and maintained by it. So that's beautiful support coming through for the collective. Next, yeah, this is great. We have even more of this support we have the bright mother, and this is a step down in energy from She of the Kruak. This is a dimensional density step down for the divine feminine in her relationship to being a primary emanation of source. She is absolutely focused. Look at the focus here. She is focused. She's completely embodied in three-dimensional, sensual, physical reality, but her focus is on the journey home and how she will make it and who she will be able to bring with her, because she is not confused about what her power is and how to use it. And so then we have another reflection of the collection of pixies that are, again, operational and coordinating efforts with the embodied feminine, human in the collective, the human feminine energy. So we have a collection of pixies, a beautiful natural realm of assistance. And I like to think of them also as those of you who would like to be in connection with your guardians and your angelic assistants. This is a reflection of those energies. And that is always operating in absolute, transparent truth and trust. And that's what this card represents. This is what we hold most dear and bring to the scrutiny of where are we in our activation of our DNA, of turning on our genetics that have been turned off, and turning off the genetics that impede our evolutionary soul journey. So that's beautiful supportive energy for the collective in terms of where the sacred union energies are currently. So those of you who are on your journeys, you can tap into these energies. And if you'd like to learn more about how to do that, you can contact me. You can come and take some coursework with me, and we can get you literally tapping in to the higher density energies and some of the techniques and tools that you can learn to do that work. And you go from your I to your me to your we, and you're really getting yourself gently and beautifully extricated from your limited social self-structure and your cultural self-structure, which is what is holding you in your pain body, if you're still being triggered along the way here. And the triggering by now, if you pass through the Lion's Gate in your journey, the triggering right now might be less, but there's a whole new wave of people who are waking up to the sacred union journey. So I'm speaking to a lot of you right now, and my soul group and I are available to help you in so many ways. You just need to get in touch. All right. So the journey continues. Now, next out we have, for the collective, we have Arvel the parrot, we have the singer of intuition, and we have the maiden. This is about the communication and the intuition and the absolute gorgeous, pristine, divine blueprint self that is really now at work on your DNA and on activating your strands of DNA so you can make it through the next series of ascension gates over the next several years. But there's going to be a lot of activity in 2020. You need to be anchored into these frequencies, and you need to know how to maintain them. And so there's this support of profound clarity of communication from the inside out that is guiding your intuition and making it louder and longer and stronger and more reliable. And this is the beautiful energy of the divine blueprint, unconditional love, that is communicating with you directly through your evolution and the union that you're in with Source and with Gaia. That's some good news right there. And then for the collective, we have ecstasy, 0 point. The ecstasy is leading to another timeline shift, another merging of timelines, folks. Get ready. Get ready, because you need to understand that we are merging and merging and merging, and we're clearing out timelines that are part of the dysfunctional, three-dimensional binary code yin-yang tube torus construct that is not in alignment with source co-creation. So when we need help, we have this beautiful bounding energy that comes in through our connection to source and brings another wave of bliss, another wave of ecstasy, so we can go through another timeline reset. And I actually, in my product line, we have an essence for this to help you. We have 0 point essence, it's number 27 in our shop, and we have timeline reset, which is number 1111. And you can purchase these, and I can tell you that these make a profound difference in how you will experience your forward steps on your progression within the Sacred Union journey. These essences are a result of my Sacred Union journey, and they were brought through in 2017. So you do have the opportunity to make conscious choices about how you open yourself up to the ecstasy that is your birthright in the Sacred Union journey, and how you can wisely and safely relax into a timeline shift and have it be not so jarring where it throws you into an episode of vertigo for a day or longer, or where you're wiped out emotionally and energetically. We'd love to help you with this. And then the last card out here, in terms of what is supporting the collective, is unity. So we have ecstasy, we have timeline merging and resets that are all about continuing to, you can look at this, and here I love this because you can see the process. This is bringing this energy together, divine masculine, divine feminine, in union with source energy, and the ecstasy that results you will feel in your central bliss channel as being home, as having come home. So this is a beautiful current energy to be in, and some of you may be going through some pretty profound and powerful insights and understanding and coming into new gifts. Your clairs may be opening, clairsentience, clairaudience, clairvoyance. I've had all those clairs and many more gifts since, well, I came into childhood prepared to do this journey because I've done the ascension journey before, and I came back to help. But I've had all those clairs operating in and out of my life on a daily basis and informing my work as an energy healer since 1989. It's when that opened up for me. All right, so then the last clarifications we have out for what, based on this beautiful energy here that is supporting the collective, and based on the challenges here that are present now for the divine masculine in his bit of recognizing that he has some adjustments to make. Where are we going here with the Tower and the devil energy? What has come forward from that? So first out we have, this is communication. Let's just say we have communication from the gate agents. And I actually function as the gate agent in the higher dimension. I'm moving people through gates all the time and getting them organized where they need to go and sorting them out. So this is a communication from a gate agent, guardian of the ascension gate. It's like, okay, if you've got all this beautiful energy supporting you and you allow yourself to surrender to it and stop your ego from fighting with it, that's the communication. What can happen with this struggle that we're in? How do we then move very quickly through the devil energy in the tower to get to where we need to be in alignment for the next gate and the next growth phase of our evolutionary soul journey? And so the two cards that came out, and I will share with you how this has been translated. We have the Ace of Chalices, and this is absolutely for the Divine Masculine, for him to recognize, right, that the Guardian at the Gate and the Ascension Journey and all the helpers are going to bring him a new opportunity to come into this sense of union in his emotional body and to completely extricate himself from his emotional pain body. And he's going to have to do that with self-love in order to completely let go of the dynamics in his third chakra, open up into his bliss channel, and open up into a profound sense of self-love that will knock him over. So he's got the Ace of Chalices, a new beginning, and I would say that it's a new beginning in the process of self-love. It's not a new beginning in the process of egoic love or sexual misuse of sacred sexual energy by pursuing romantic partners that, it just never ends up being fulfilling. He's got a new, beautiful beginning to open into deeper, deeper self-love in union inside of himself and in union with Source. And then he'll be able to go and approach his sacred union feminine counterpart. And if he has a new counterpart that he's been assigned to, it'll be wonderful. And if there's some kind of return to a monadic counterpart, that feminine energy that's willing to meet him again in the dynamic and move forward, then so be it. And for the Divine Feminine, we have the Ace of Pentacles. Because while he's learning how to support and open himself into his emotional body, Divine Feminines, we have this challenge to come out of the old-fashioned he-she relationship where the male is the provider and the woman was the emotional secretary. So in that, we're having to, in our union, literally reverse our roles, where the Divine Masculine is going to become his own social secretary. He won't need you anymore to moderate his emotional expression. He's going to be able to actually name his feelings, feel his feelings, express his feelings, and he's going to have a new beginning in learning how to do that because he's coming out of his pain body. Kindergarten 101. Again, if any of you Divine Masculines are in this position and you'd like to come to our Ascension Soul Group, we're doing this union journey together as a soul group and as individuals and as counterparts. We are here to help you. The information is in the description box. It's not easy. Woo! We know that. And so here we have this Ace of Pentacles coming into alignment with the High Priestess to begin to ground the Divine Feminine in the energy that she needs to open herself up into being stable and sustainable through her own co-creation projects, efforts, energy, and completions. So Divine Feminines, look for some new opportunities coming your way. It's very likely having to do with your economic and financial stability. Could be a new job offer, could be a new collaborative partnership in a business venture, or in any activity that will sustain you in having the resources you need to feel safe and grounded and secure in meeting your absolute birthright options for daily sustenance. Give us this day our daily bread. Yeah? And forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who have trespassed against us. Yeah? Some of these old words have a lot of power and a lot of meaning. We just need to interpret them and have them translated correctly, instead of the hodgepodge mishmash that have been thrown at us and given to us as dogma. Okay, so that is a pretty beautiful closure to this reading, where we have more clear, focused forward motion for the Divine Feminine after quite a serious setback. I don't know how long this setback has been for you, Divine Feminine, but you'll know if this reading is resonating with you. And you're moving through that, having come from a place of self-love and taking good care of yourself in your journey. And you've gone home to Source, you've gone to the sea of consciousness, and you're bringing back the milk and honey that will sustain you in the rest of your time in a physical embodiment, however long that may be. All right, now, these cards, these additional light language cards, there was no change in the current energies for these energies coming from Source. Source is still, the current energy is let go. Let go so you can receive all of this beautiful, gorgeous support. Let go so you can get through the Tower and the Devil energy. Let go so that your entire unified sacred union can move forward through the gate. Let go so that you're clear about the message coming to you from the guardians at the gate and your helpers and assistants on your journey. Source is saying, look, just let go. Let go of identities that are too small, that are holding you back. And this is absolutely geared toward your social self and your cultural self. We really do have to come into unity as a human collective. Those of us who are sending will do this. We will get past our racial biases. We will get past our ingrained sense of entitlement based on what color our skin is, or who we were born to, or what economic advantages we may have gained without having to done anything to earn them. Okay, so we're going to come into this kind of unity. Source is going to insist on it. You're not going to make it through the gate if you haven't done that basic work. Forget about it. Forget about it. So I strongly encourage you to attend my workshop September 21st and 22nd, Your Story or Your Life. Okay, so we have Let Go from Source. We have Soul Journey for the Divine Masculine, because man, he's on a journey, and he's gonna feel this as the Tower, and then he'll become more conscious. And that is what this soul journey is about waking up and becoming completely conscious to who you are, and then becoming a conscious co-creator and a steward of any environment in which you find yourself, that you will contribute as a conscious co-creator instead of as a mad, crazed, emotionally deranged and disorganized and mentally confused remnant of what was once a magnificent human being. I know that's a bit harsh, but that's how it is. For the Divine Feminine, we still have soul writing. We have soul writing. And that is where you're at, Divine Feminine, and you need to continue to be the author of your authentic life. That's the guidance that's coming from you. From this card for me represents Divine Feminine, dark matter. This is what 94% of the known universe that human beings can perceive is composed of. It's not composed of light. It's composed of sound and dark matter. Okay. And then lastly, we have grounding. So this card is out again because when you've got this much energy moving through you, when you have this much energy coming into your physical embodiment, whoa, yeah, you really need to ground this. So what does that mean? You're doing movement, you're out in nature, maybe you're walking, maybe you're dancing, maybe you're really adjusting your diet, and so you're now and then you may need to actually adjust and ground yourself in the way that you're eating. And from time to time, this may include some occasional fish or some particular form of life that will sacrifice itself for you. Because you know what? When you ascend, you're going to be taking that life form with you as part of your DNA information that will be in your Akashic record that will come with you when you ascend. So the animals understand the role that they play, they understand the role that we play, and we all understand that everybody's been being sacrificed and used for food here on planet 3D construct Earth for thousands of years. And we're glad that it's changing. But occasionally, you might need to eat a little bit of meat so that your nervous system and your changing neurology and biology has a chance to integrate and connect, so that you just don't lose it and go into a space where you become really energetically or emotionally dysfunctional as you're coming out of your pain body. This would not be Gaia, and it would not be Source's desire for you to experience that. Okay, so that's the reading. I want to thank you very much for watching this in its entirety whenever you choose to do that. And I think I'm going to just kind of pop this right here as a reminder of making sure that in your self-care you are grounding your energy in this beautiful fifth dimensional energy that is now integrating into your biology. Okay, so I think that's a pretty good reading. I'm not sure what tomorrow will bring, but I've been doing these readings on a daily basis. So if this information is valuable, subscribe, like, and share, and check the channel. You'll get a notification if you click the bell, and you'll be notified when I've got a new Sacred Union, aka Twin Flame reading for you. All right, everybody, you're doing great work. Pat yourselves, pat yourselves on the back, particularly pat yourselves on your third chakra so that it can dissolve more quickly. Give yourself a high heart hug, and just really appreciate you and all this amazing work that we're all doing together. We're going to have another big round of people awakening in 2020. And if you're interested in training with me so that I can help you find just a couple of extra tools that you could use to assist people in your familiar environment or collegial environment that may just, you'll know and they'll know that they'll make a request for help, or you'll be able to make an offer to assist and they'll accept it. So if you're interested in training with me in that way, please do look at Source Solutions and the information we have on the website. And by golly, come on and come to the September workshop, 21st, 22nd, and that will be part of one programmatic training that I can offer to you that you can then move forward, and I can give you a workshop program and product that you can bring to your community anywhere where the English language is spoken. Anywhere in the world. All right, thanks guys. Thanks peeps. Much love to all. Bye-bye.